We live? We are live. All right. Ignore the background music in the background. All right. So what we're creating here is a character in Blender. Very simple character. All right. Let's begin. So the problem with this and the problem with creating a character is that while you do have good topology and you have the topology made, this has 32,000 faces and a head alone is going to be like another 32,000. So I really don't exactly know what I'm going to do for the head process, but what I like to do, GZ that up, flip over, and I like to abuse the hell out of the fact that you can make these spheres, bring it down, rotate it, select everything. Make sure you go on Z because otherwise it doesn't select everything. And what you can do is start making this human head shape, which is really useful for getting that basic, the basic shape going for the head. So it's much easier to sculpt. And you don't have to work as hard. It's pretty simple. It's not like a massively huge thing. Look at that, we already have our head. We're going to scale it somewhat proportional to our body. This I'll probably make a separate tutorial for. Now, this is a thing that will happen if you use the quad flow remesh. You may notice this little line right here. And that is caused by, I'm not 100% sure, but basically quad flow remesh works by relying on your point of origin, which is in the crotch, funnily enough. Let's go. So it's in the crotch, and basically it uses that as a way to remesh, but it usually creates that little line, so you got to go back and change that. Now, the hardest part when making a character, I personally think, is the face. A lot of people like to do it last, a lot of people like to do it first, but it's the part that is going to be the most unique, because for most characters, you can take the base mesh and change it, but you can't really take the face and just copy it over as easily. Okay, yep, still by the crotch is great. But yeah, so it's not as easy with the faces, especially with remeshing. Like the body you can remesh because these details are much simpler. They're not as overly complicated. But the head has so many small details that you have to get like 40 or 50,000 quads in order for it to preserve that mask. So what I like to do, we're going to go over to modifiers and apply that. And now we're just going to go Control 4. Oh, whoops, I forgot we're in that. So Shift R lets us see the resolution. So basically the resolution that is used for the remesh. And also what you can do, I don't know if anyone here is new to Blender, but if you click Control J with two objects, you can join them together. But the problem is your meshes will overlap. And if you want to fix that, you can just go into sculpt mode, and then this remesh up here, voxel remesh, will actually automatically remove any of those inside vertices. So I'll actually show you what happens. If we quickly go boom, bop, we can add a cube, bring it up here, and we can add another cube. Some cubes. We can add 2 cubes, right? And what we can do is we can join these cubes together, but if you look, the inside is completely befoofled. If you look, you can see that. However, what we can then do is, so they're joined together, but then we can go into sculpt mode, Control R, and now there's nothing on the inside, which is a really useful trick that I really don't see many people talk about. It's very useful to use. Oh, Alt-Z, by the way, if you want to switch around between going in hollow mode. This isn't really a tutorial, but just making a basic witch character because I need money to fund my Funimation. I want to watch my anime. So yeah, we're making a character. So Control R, and as you can see, it looks like it changed a bit, but if we go into tab, you see that changed a lot. So now we can tap this, and we can basically smooth out the face. The head's a little bit bulgy. Another quick little tip, if you click Control while using a brush, it does the reverse. So inflate usually inflates, but if we hold Control, it deflates. It's pretty fun. You just shrink everything. Inside the skull we go, boys. Smooth this all out. We're going to increase the strength because we have so many vertices Yeah, the smooth really needs it. And we're going to zoom around here. As you can see, we're starting to get that shape. You got to remember, you have to have a defined jawline. So we're going to use G, which is just the grab brush. I've memorized a lot of shortcuts, but not all of them, because there's actually over 2,000 shortcuts in Blender, like default shortcuts. And there's even more that you can personally add. So think about the programmers, like how much they had to do in order to add that. That is a lot of freaking 2,000 different one of those brushes, but oh my god. We're gonna deflate the front of this face. Less intense jawline. Now, this is one way to start making a head, but one way that actually might be better is actually to just add a cube. This is how you're supposed to make circles. Don't use the default sphere in most cases, because you can just make a cube like this. And as you can see, the geometry is even. It's nice, it's really easy to work with, and it's already ready to rig. But if we add a sphere, you may notice that the geometry is not actually even. It gets really clumped up, and that fucks with texturing, where'd it go? Texturing, rigging, it F's with everything. It really messes up your workflow terribly. And so it is good if you're making eyes, because you can easily select these inside things and scale them and basically make pupils really easily. But for most round things, you want to use this because it's got even geometry. We're going to go back here. We're going to GZ this down, G it, move it. G is move in object mode, and then Z is just along the Z axis. So we're going to go in here, sculpt. As you can see, we can start changing this up. Now, I haven't actually done it like this in a while, so hopefully I don't make it look terrible. But we're going to click G. We're going to click the slash button, which removes everything except this. We can still bring it back, but we want to pay attention to this. We're going to use the G brush, and we're going to drag that jawline down. Now, believe it or not, making women's heads is actually very, very painful. Like, it's easy to make a man's head. I don't know about other people, but for me, it's easy to make a guy-looking head, but a woman-looking head, it is much harder for me to do. We're going to click R just to add more geometry. If we click Shift R, you'll notice it's at 1. We want to bring that down all the way, like, it's a 0.1. That's going to give us a lot more control over the look. Now, if you wonder why some people start modeling in like a low poly form, oh my god. Yeah, let's drag this down. Let me undo all this. Get out of here, Norton, and my 20 other freaking notifications. But if you want to know why all these professional CGI artists, why they start in like low poly, it's because low poly, when sculpting, actually gives you a lot more control over the general shape, and then you want to bring it to high resolution as you get to smaller and smaller shapes. And so it just helps with that. So to make a head, we basically bring down the jawline and we pull in the sides. That's like the most basic head formation. And we come around, we bring this up. You want to make sure that backs up. I mean, heads are weird when you think about them, right? I mean, think about a head. Like, heads look weird. Now, my rule of thumb is the smooth fixes everything. If you have a problem, just spam the smooth brush. I'm sure it will turn out fine. And that sounds like bad advice, but that actually comes in handy quite a lot. We got this alien looking like head, but it'll work. It'll work, hopefully. Hopefully it will work. Oh my god. I don't like how long that jaw is. Scale in the Z. Yeah, you have to remember, scaling in the Z is just going to keep that ratio. So if you want to actually bring that up, smooth it out, look at that. We don't have problems. I'm not a bad sculptor. Please don't call me a bad sculptor. And then we can just smack everything in there. Kind of looks weird, but yeah, the front of the face is supposed to be a lot flatter than that. You can see that's one. Oh my god, the horrors I've created. That's one way. There's many ways to make a head. You can make a head in many ways. So let's go back to... We're going to bring back that body just to help us give a better reference. But really, the easiest way is just going to be using this tab trick. 3, boom. Actually, A, scale everything down. Select, you move that down a bit, and then boom, look at that. And then scale on the X. Now what we can do is before we actually apply this modifier, we can bring in these, scale on the X, 2, scale on the X, 1, scale on the X, and God dang it, GY that back. These we can GY back, we can scale them. As you can see, we can start getting that head formation. Back here it looks a little bit derpy just because it's so close. We have a flat head. As you can see, it starts to get closer and closer, and so it starts to flatten out and look a bit weird. But we can shrink that down and make it look a bit more natural. So if we smooth that, now let's go to the front and let's see how that looks. I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to go with that. Now in sculpt mode, we're going to go Shift R. We're going to bring that down to about 2-ish. Is a lot, actually. Like, that is a lot of polygons. If we look actually, go into tab mode, we can say, oh, wait, what? Oh, wait, I undid the thing. Whoops. Bring that back down to like the point 1. Control R. We're going to click tab. And you can see we have 44,000 faces, which actually isn't a lot. I mean, that's not really, it's not really like a huge thing. But what we now want to do is constant detail, and for heads, you want, yeah, that being a random song. What we want to do for heads is like, what the fuck is this? Get out of here. God, I have like 12 notifications already. So what we want to do now is we have this basic head shape. We're going to smooth it on out. It doesn't look perfect, but we can cover up the back of the head with the hair. And then what we can do is bring, oh, sorry, T brings the menu up and back. So we're going to bring this around and make it look like a head. While Diantope is on, this thing up here, also known as Shift D, while it's on, you cannot, is this flipped? What is going on? That's weird. My mouse is off from where it should be. But Diantope basically, it flips. It doesn't flip, but it breaks down polygons as you need them. So I set it to constant detail. And then while doing that, you cannot remesh because this thing F's with textures and stuff so much because it's in live. The other remeshes don't, but this one does. So what a head is that you basically have an indent, and then the nose kind of stays not just at the same height, but it kind of extends out. Smooth that up. As you can see, we start getting this face-like look. We're going to use Sharp Draw, which normally dents in. Now look closely. You'll notice something. If your not sphere, but if your sculpt tool is not a perfect sphere, that means that you have to Control A all transformations. And now back in sculpt mode, it's a sphere. Basically, there's a difference between editing something in this type of mode and object mode. And so in edit mode, when you edit something, you want to make sure that you add those transformations or it will completely F with your sculpts. So we're going to add this nose. Just bring it out. Control R. Oh, we can't Control R. We have constant detail. So what we do is Control D to turn that off. Shift R. Control R. Smooth. See, brings it so it looks really nice. Now, I'm not 100% sure what a woman's face looks like. Maybe this is a woman's face. I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up some reference over here in our little thing. I don't know if that actually appears on the stream, but we're going to go to Image Editor. I'm just going to go quickly grab a face of a woman. So a woman's face. I don't know why the first image is a guy, but okay. So, okay, why do they all have masks on? What the hell? Ah. Reference image woman's face. Thank you. You know what? I'll just kind of keep that open. My God. I guess no one likes looking directly at a woman's face because they're all at like angles. And let me tell you, when you're trying to do something on this XYZ angle, it's really annoying to have it like this. But a couple things I do see right away is that compared to the jaw, this needs to be brought up massively. Now, actually, I don't know about you, but I like to practice drawing heads. It's good practice for understanding human anatomy and understanding how you should sculpt things. And the heads is this rule of three to a point where smooth it all out. See, smooth brush fixes everything. You don't need skill, you need smooth brush. But I'm just going to set this alone. The rule of three basically works like this. If we go to the front, thank you, what we have is we have the head, basically where the eyes are, where the nose is going to be, and then the bottom of the draw. And what the trick to drawing heads is you draw a circle, and then you go down past the circle, and then another 50%. So basically, have a circle, you'd have a circle, and then you draw your line halfway across, and then you bring it down, and then you bring it from the distance of halfway to here down again. And that's kind of what you use. So it's the jaw, it shows you where the nose is supposed to be, and where the top of the eyes are supposed to be. And it's a really useful trick. Actually, instead of G, we're actually going to use the inflate brush, which is I, and then Control to help deflate that. So basically, our goal is to deflate this brush. We're going to increase the strength just because we're doing so much deflating. Now, humans also on the side of their head, it isn't round. It's actually flat on these two sides. So we're going to have to flatten them. As you can see, we're starting to get the face, and it's starting to look really nice, but continue smoothing that out. And by the way, Diantope only affects certain brushes. Not every brush is actually affected by Diantope. Like the draw brush, I don't believe is actually, but the clay brush is. So not every brush is actually going to add geometry. The grab brush doesn't, but the snake brush does. This is grab, that's not good. This is snake, this is grab. Use the grab brush, we can just pull this in. And as you can see, we go over here. We're going to pull in everything. My God. Now, at first, it looks kind of ugly, and you'd be absolutely right to say that. We're going to pull it all in to get that better human-looking shape. Oh, God, no, we've destroyed our thing. Now we're just going to smooth brush. Look at that. Now, you have to be careful with smooth brush, because if you're not careful and you're working on high detail, like little nooks and crannies, and you're dealing with millions of polygons, you can easily do one of two things. Either A, you're going to ruin all this little detail really quickly if your smooth brush is too strong. Like mine's at 1. It's at 1. That's 100%. Most things in Blender run on a system of either 0 to 1. So you have to be careful with that. But the other thing you have to be very careful with. Dang, I gotta flatten. I gotta shrink the side of this head. What is that? Oh, I see. There's this glitch going on. So what that means is we probably... Huh? That's weird. Okay, that was weird. Ah, look at that. Look at that speed. There we go. Perfection. Oh, look at that. We're starting to get a face. How very nice. It's almost like we were drawing a face or something. But yeah, the two things that can happen is you can either remove a lot of detail, or if you're dealing with millions of polygons, you can easily crash your computer. So you have to be careful. It's a game of balance. Just notice we don't have Diantope on. Diantope. So what I like to use for the eye holes is we're just going to use this brush, draw brush, and then we're going to click Control. We could basically get these eyes going. And after that, we're going to go Control D to turn off Diantope and Control R to re-smooth everything out. As you can see, we are now designing a face. We're seeing the face. Now with normal clay, it's like normal sculpting, it's like the character's in there, but you gotta like pull them out. But with this, it's not exactly like that. As you can see, we're starting to get this one's head. Now, notice something very important here. When I scaled, notice her head flew away. That's because the origin is right here at this little orange spot, and my mouse is still off. What the hell? I don't understand why. YouTube, what have you done? But you notice the little orange dot. Let me show it on stream. Boop, there it is, the orange dot, I think. So basically, that is the point of origin. So we click Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry, or Geometry to Origin. You can also set it so you can click Shift-C to bring this thing back to the center. The cursor is a special tool you can use for rotation. And you click Shift-C to send that back, set the origin to that, and then set the geometry to that. And that way, you can always have the object at the center. So origin to 3D cursor, and then set origin, geometry to origin. And so you can use that to get the things back on the XYZ axis. So you know it's going to be right there. And the big head. So now we're starting to get this face. Just like that, Shift-C. Now, when it comes to lips, I am terrible. I mean, I am absolutely trash when it comes to lips. But the trick I've seen with lips is you have to add like muscle. You basically have to inflate this area right here. You have to inflate it. And you can do that two ways. You can either inflate it and then carve the lips in, or the more effective method that also works with poly modeling, like messing with the individual polygons, is to pull out the lips. Use the sharp draw brush, and we're going to pull out the lips. We got a mustache. Oh my god. Yeah. If we quickly look at a human's face, I don't actually think you can see this, but if I take a quick look at why are they all at an angle? Face, head facing forward. My god, is that so hard to ask for? Thank you. Something nice people have done it. But if you do look at photos of humans, you notice that about halfway in between the eye, right here, even if you can't see my mouse is accurate, the actual blue thing is accurate. What? Okay, there it is. So the mouse isn't accurate, but the blue thing is, which is very nice. It looks like YouTube's drawing over my image, over my video with the mouse, which is kind of funny. I don't know, maybe that's not from your side, but basically from the ends of here, this is where the lips are going to be. So we're going to sharp draw. We're going to draw the lips themselves first. So we go here. God damn it. You draw in the lips, and then we inflate on the outside. Look at that. Those are lips, babies. Now we're going to increase the detail just a bit. I suggest you don't do this because I have an Alienware computer and that might crash your computer. Wait, hold on. No, I'm thinking of 0.01. Sorry. Yeah, you can increase the detail. Shift R, keep increasing it. Control R. It will take a couple seconds, but it will eventually get there. So we're going to undo all that. Look at that. We have lips. We have a head. We have let's make sure we use our flatten tool on the side of our head in order to make sure you can control when using the flatten tool. The flatten tool normally pulls geometry out. So you have to make sure you use control in order to make sure that it doesn't pull it out. Bring that to strength of 1. Smooth. And then flatten. That's not flatten. Sorry, F actually changes the size, and so does the scroll wheel. So we're going to go to flatten. And by the way, this is Blender, in case you didn't know what this was, or in case you don't know what Blender is. It's a free program, does CGI. It's very nice. It's like 10 programs in one. And yeah, so look at that. We now have ourselves a character we're making. Now, after this, after you get this workflow going and you do everything like that, what you generally end up doing is the main points that define your character are one, the clothes, which basically we can tab and select this and shift duplicate, and then parent with a P, selection, tab, select, scale, object set origin. We could do that trick, which is generally how you're going to do clothes, right? But the main things are hair, clothing, and accessories. The general body shape and style also will define them. In case you didn't, basic thing about art, humans are made of shapes. Like everything you make is going to have basic, large, identifiable shapes. And with Blender, you can really take advantage of that because, like, to make this character, I had it in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces, and then also mirrored. And so you can take advantage of that, and you can take advantage of that blocking shape because you know what shapes you're going to be blocking out. Now, this one doesn't really have defined shapes. And actually, if you really want to make a nicely made stylized character, I suggest you look at what Polygon does. And what he says to do is you basically exaggerate the shape, you exaggerate the form, and then you pull it back until it looks good. And then so you'd like increase the hips to like here, you increase them like that, and then you pull them back until they look good again. You basically exaggerate the form, and it makes it look more unique and whatnot. Now, for this character, we're going to be making a rig for them because it's more valuable if I make a rig. I really need money. Oh my god. But we're going to select all the... God dang it. We're going to select this. Select all the two ends. We're going to click X, the faces. So we're going to delete those faces. 2, round select. What the hell? Round select. There we go. Alt S. I meant to use smooth brush. There we go. And now we have a round mouth. Alt Z, scale, extrude, scale open, extrude, scale open. Yeah, we got to scale that on the X. As you can see, by using the Z, we can see that, yes, we now have a mouth. And that's going to be good for... Oh, now our loops aren't working. That's not good. I'm going to select all this, scale on the Z. Now look at that. We have lips. GY. Now if we select this, we can shade smooth. And look at that. We have a woman's head. We got the body. Now comes the stylization. Here's the problem. I'm a big dum-dum. I don't know how to freaking make hair. Does it look like I know how to make hair? Yes, I do have some ideas of how to make the hair. But the main things we need to add are boots, gloves, and then the wizarding clothes. Because remember, this is a wizard. We're also going to add a staff for her to carry, and some long hair and a hat. And once we have everything, I'll go back and I'll hook it all up to a rig. Now, I think I'm going to try to keep her hair a bit short because it's easier to rig like that. And basically what the rig's going to look like is it's going to be... There we go. It's going to go down. You basically just have a regular human rig. And in fact, we can actually take advantage of an add-on called Rigify, which automatically has a well-designed human rig. And we can basically line up our mesh to that rig after we add all the proper face holes and stuff, and it will already be pre-rigged. And on top of that, it will have all the keyframes and stuff already designed, which is a really useful add-on if you're not good at rigging like me. And that's what we're going to use because I'm not good at rigging. And basically what that will let us do is it will let us get this character rigged and ready to go. Now, in case you didn't know, if you're trying to design a character for animation and you want to have them talk, the main things that humans have is there are 5 major sounds that humans make with vowels, like basically 5 major mouth shapes with every vowel in every language. And I think there's like another 2 or 7 for all the other consonants. So basically, if you want to make a character that's easy to animate with talking, you make a keyframe. It's like 10 keyframes, and those 10 keyframes you can mix and match to make the voice of every single one of the characters. And you could probably even make a program, but goddamn, 20 more. Stop notifying me. Ah. We can even go back and you can add in the characters. So basically, having water over here. So basically what you can do is you can set it up like that so it's easy to make talking animations. It's really useful. Now, you may notice that we're already 30 minutes in, and I actually already had this body. It took another 30 minutes. So to get this base mesh, it does take about an hour if you're making a really good, well-made base mesh. Now, for the neck, what we're going to do is GY to move it along the y-axis, GZ, Shift A, there we go. And we're going to go down to cylinder, GZ, niche, scale Z. That's not how that looks. All right. And boom, we added ourselves the character's neck. So now we have the character, we have the neck. Now let's add some clothes. Sorry, I meant eyes. We do need eyes. Boop. So Shift A. This is where you want to use V-sphere for eyes. Rotate on our X 90. Let's shade that flat so I can see what it is. Make it about the shape of the eye socket, and then we'll go back and we'll sculpt the face to match it. So GY. Notice we can't actually see the y-axis because we're on it, but you can still move it by going up and down. So you can move it until it starts to clip, bring it forward, and then we can go around. We can go GY. About the spot where a human eye would be located. Now what we can do is making sure that we're in that sculpt mode. We can use the inflate brush. We can pull it down. We're going to mask this top piece. That way we don't edit it anymore. And then inflate this bottom piece. Ah, saggy eyes. Ah. Yeah, the problem with being so close is that you can easily throw off things. And this side over here is going to give us a better visual of what's happening over there. Ah, whoa, flatten. You're a bit strong there. Or smooth. You're a bit strong there. Now we can also use the grab brush and just go whoa. We can pull everything up. Now notice something. The eye is there, but if we go around and click Alt-Z, you notice it just got pulled back. So we're going to use the inflate brush to move all of this forward. You can notice some clipping. I mean, it's not like terrible, right? But then we can click Control-R, we can remesh it, and we can get all that geometry back. Now, another thing that you can do that's probably actually more effective is you can actually just take a sphere and slice it in half. So it's very nice, very nice. We're going to smooth all this out. Now, believe it or not, most of the emotion that you're going to read from humans and characters actually comes from the eyes, not the mouth. So you do want to focus heavily on these eyes. We're going to use the grab brush. We got to get some weird angles, but then we can get the thing up. I'm going to remesh that just so it looks nice. And look at that. And then we're going to inflate, and we're going to use the draw sharp, just so we can, draw sharp. There we go. It doesn't look so good without the other eye, though. So Remesh that again. Now what we can do, it looks like she's scolding. She's angry. She doesn't want to exist. God, no. But we're going to go and we're going to add a mirror modifier. Boop, bop, bam, boom. Oh no, our lips. They're fine. Hey, wait a minute. No, they're not fine. Oh no. All of our work is done. Yeah, no, we can just easily add back the mouth holes. Now we actually could set this up for 3D printing, which would be pretty nice. Hold on, I'm gonna click Z a couple times because I don't know what happened there.
Are you sure you're not going back in person?
Yeah, I can double check.
Please double check that you're staying online.
Give me a second.
Where is Odin Lloyd? Odin Lloyd Barrows needs to go.
Give me a second. Almost done. All right, I'm back. Oh crap! I closed Blender. No. Sorry about that. Let's go back to Alright, she's scoldy, but I don't know how to make a person look happy, so maybe we can ease up the eyes. Actually, maybe that would help. I don't know. So we're gonna bring these down. Now we actually want to use G so we can pull them forward as well. Once again, you can see a lot of emotion is conveyed through the eyes. Now, boom! That's what we're looking for. That face. Calm and relaxation. Now I gotta go let my dog out. BRB. Oh no. I was like, come on. All right, there we go. All right, so this is going to be, dang it. Now we're going to quickly add a draw sharp here to more finely define the nose. Pop that strength back up. There we go, just to help define the nose a bit more. But now we have our character, we have our face. I'm probably going to finish this in another live stream just because there's a lot to do. Now we're going to select all of this. Faces to we're going to select this and this. Scale on the Z. Alt Z, extrude, scale, extrude, scale on the Z. Ah, what happened to this? Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, so we'll extrude it, Y, scale Z, extrude Y, scale Z. Scale Z, GZ. There we go. But now we have a character, and everything looks good. All right, so next stream, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing up this character by adding the hair, which I need to figure out more about, then the clothes, and then, yeah, I might actually change this from a rigged character to a printable character, but we'll see in the next one. All right, see ya. Boom.